Hello everybody, good morning and welcome to That's Football. This is your latest transfer news and we're going to be talking about all the big clubs today. Arsenal, Spurs, some people might say they're not big, I think they are. Chelsea, Liverpool, Man City, Manchester United, lots to discuss. And interesting as well, isn't it? I don't want to ram the point home, but we have been quite good in getting information so far this summer and long may it continue. The Sterling news really hitting home now. Everybody's all over this. Sterling, Chelsea's interest. Remember, we mentioned this right at the start of the month. Nobody mentioned it. It seemed a little bit left field. Now it's happening. What I would say is, and I had no idea about this, that Chelsea would also look at Nathan Ake as well. And even Shevchenko's being mentioned now. So a weird transfer window because you don't normally get a lot of that. Chelsea to Man City, they played a Champions League final a year ago and yet Man City are quite happy to give Sterling up. I've never really discussed that. I'm actually quite surprised Man City are doing that. I mean, Sterling's not in his 30s. I still think Sterling's a better, more valuable player to Man City than Grealish. It's a big year for Grealish next year. I like Grealish, but it's a big year for him. Yeah, interesting on that one. Also, Liverpool, Barella, we'll be talking about that. Spurs, a different centre-back. Arsenal pushing hard for a centre-back as well. Bit about Rafinha with them as well. Chelsea, as I said, Sterling looking at that. Man City, Cucurella. Manchester United, De Jong. All going on and quite a lot of interjection as well. But yeah, Sterling we've spoken about. I mean, when this is going to happen, I think we're in a key week. I said this yesterday. Teams, a lot of players not back yet. A lot of internationals not back yet. Sterling's not back in training yet. But next week is when people want to be back pre-season to go on their tours and things like that. A lot of people want to be organised and sorted. So I think that, look, you can never say that these deals are going to be done by the weekend, but I certainly think in the next 10 days we'll get real developments on the Sterlings, the Rafinhas, the Richarlisons, and I would still say Sterling, Chelsea, very, very, very likely. Rafinha to Arsenal, very, very likely. And Richarlison to Spurs, very, very likely. And I think all three of them get good deals out of that. Liverpool, Barella, I want to talk about this. This is the one that grabbed my attention this morning. I woke up, I saw on Twitter, Barella was trending. I thought, oh, please, are Manchester United looking at Barella? No, Liverpool are looking at Barella. And I'm looking at all these images of people saying, get lost, Bellingham, we want Barella now. Now, I can't really understand where this is coming from. And effectively, I think it's in the rumour mill of the Liverpool fan base. But Barella, 25 years of age, contract till 2026, Inter Milan. I can't see them giving him up easy, but he is one, and I love Italian football. Going back to Italia 90, I love Italian football. Sundays on Channel 4, Saturday with James Richardson on Channel 4 as well. I love Italian football, and I don't think enough Italian players come and play in the Premier League, certainly midfielders anyway. And I know that Verratti's done it for years at PSG, but there's been so many players I've looked at in that midfield over the years with people like Gattuso and De Rossi, and even now with people like Tonali and Barella and Locatelli. I think these are players that all would suit the Premier League, and I'd love to see Barella playing in the Premier League. Do I think Liverpool are going to sign him this summer? Possibly not, but it might be a player next summer. Already, I said this last week, Bellingham, take your pick. Man City, Liverpool, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, they'll all be going for him next summer. It will be Dortmund's big sale next summer, and where he ends up, look, you could get him, you might not get him. So it's wise for Liverpool to be looking at other players, and I think Barella would be superb in a Liverpool side. I really do. Whether they could do that deal this summer, I wouldn't be expecting it. Maybe it's a deal for next summer if Bellingham doesn't happen. Liverpool seem to be at the point where they've almost done their business now. I do think a midfielder for Liverpool would be a very, very good idea. And, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if Liverpool went and did another deal because they've got the capability of doing that and they're selling players to sort of accommodate the signing of Nunez anyway. But, I mean, look, it'd be very exciting and that's why Liverpool fans are excited about it. Whether it'll happen, we'll have to keep an eye on it, but it's an interesting story. I suppose it depends whether Liverpool want to do a business now. Inter Milan probably would do some business if they got a good offer. They have financial issues themselves, but keep an eye on that. I wouldn't put it in the category of what I said the other day, De Ligt, Chelsea, that's definitely on. I wouldn't say that's definitely happening, but it's definitely on, and it's the sort of player that Juventus, again, Italian clubs will always sell if they can get good money most of the time because they, you know, the Italian league is not as cash rich as what the Premier League is. So De Ligt to Chelsea, I think, will happen. But you know, we'll have to wait and see. Everyone's got a price, I suppose. Talking about centre backs very quickly, let's bring the North London clubs back into it. Arsenal and Spurs. Arsenal, Lisandro Martinez, aggressive. I was talking about this on the United Stand. It does implicate Manchester United. If you want to check that out, check it on the United Stand. More depth information about it. But effectively, Arsenal want Lisandro Martinez. They've already put one bid in. It's been rejected. They're being aggressive, trying to get that deal done. They know United are stuck in this De Jong train where they won't do anything else before they've sorted De Jong out. So it gives Arsenal a free run at a centre-back from Ajax, which is what Man United want. They want Timber. If they don't get him, they want Martinez. So Arsenal really aggressively going for Lisandro Martinez. I don't know which way to jump on that. I think the way Arsenal have behaved in this transfer window so far, I think they'll get him. Already got Vieira, already got Jesus, very close to Rafinha, as we've said, and I think they'll get Martinez. I do. If I had to take a guess on it, I do. I think the only thing that will stop it is if United and Ajax have come to some sort of agreement. But Arsenal are going really, really hard on that. And then another club that's linked to United, Barcelona, De Jong, Longley, centre-back. They're looking to move him on. Spurs really interested in him as well. I've got to say, I don't know whether this is a good deal for Spurs or not. I know Pau Torres is available from Villarreal, and I thought that's the way that Spurs were going to go. But Longley, a few years ago, was a player I would have thought, interesting. I don't know about him. He's not really... You look at Barcelona fans and they don't really want to sell De Jong. They understand De Jong's going because they need the money, but they don't really want him to go. You look at Longley and Umtiti and they're very, very eager to get those players out. Is that the right profile of player for Spurs? I would never mistrust the judgment of Conte. I think he's a fantastic coach, but I'm not convinced that Longley is that right sort of... I don't think Longley is the... I think Pau Torres would have suited them better. Vardiel of Spurs, of Leipzig would suit them better. So, look, is Longley as advanced as it could be? We'll have to wait and see. But, look, there's a lot going on. And Arsenal and Spurs and I think Chelsea are about to enter that equation now. Very, very active and certainly looking at quite a lot of players at the moment. And I think that's going to progress with the ever closer tours coming and everybody coming back to train, and it's an early start to the season as well. And I don't think you can... I just want to add that as well. This is not a traditional season we're going into. This is not where the season starts in mid-August, you play 3 games, then there's an international break, and the international break always comes straight after the closure of the transfer window, and then you come back for a few games and you have another international break. This season starts right at the start of August and it runs right to the end of September before we have an international break. Yes, the transfer window doesn't close till I think it's the September the 1st now, but by that time you'll be playing a game a few days after. You'll have played 4 games before. It's not the same, and your preparation's not the same. Like you can't... If you want to get players in, you really want to be doing it ASAP. It's going to be very challenging. You've got a World Cup in November as well, so... Yeah, and also you want your players on tour because you're playing a game on August the 6th. It's a week closer than it normally is. So I think teams are working quicker and working more aggressively because of that. And I think it's something to keep an eye on. And that's why I think we'll keep getting the fast progression of deals that we're getting. One other player I'd mention, again, it's through Barcelona, is Dembele. I mean, there was a time a couple of weeks ago when it really looked like he was heading to Chelsea. Bayern Munich have put an offer in. I think PSG have put an offer in. I think Chelsea have put an offer in. And Barcelona have put an offer in. Apparently he does want to stay at Barcelona now, and that's the most likely thing. But that could change. He might... I mean, Chelsea, I think if they got Dembele, they'd still go for Sterling. I don't think that's the killer blow, really. I think they would go for Sterling, and still... I think they're very, very far ahead with Sterling, and I think they would go for Dembele. But I think he'll end up at Barcelona, to be honest, and maybe that will solve the problem, which is probably why Chelsea is still linked to Richarlison as well from Everton. So really interesting. Lots of people doing lots of things. Chelsea, Sterling, Rafinha, Arsenal, Alessandro Martinez, Arsenal, Spurs, Longley, Richarlison, and obviously you've got Liverpool a bit quiet at the moment. I think Man City will get Cucurella. Manchester United, just very quickly, I'm going to speak about them on the United Stand. De Jong is getting closer, and as close as it can get. It's closer than close. We will get that deal done. Eriksen's still deciding between Brentford and Manchester United, which I just try not to talk about because I think it's embarrassing. But as I said this morning, I think with Eriksen, he's probably like United fans. He's like, well, I'm waiting to see what you're going to do. And if we're confused as fans and concerned, then you can understand why he is. And people say, well, why would he want to stay at Brentford? Well, he likes London, and he's a first-team starter every week at Brentford. comes to Manchester United, might spend most of his season on the bench and in a team that's struggling. So, and you've got to upheaval and go to Manchester. So, you know, this is a guy that was lying on a pitch a year ago thinking he'd never play football again, or could have been in a worse situation than that. I imagine he just wants to play football and enjoy football. And, you know, maybe that's why it's taken him time to deliver. Let's see. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching. Get your comments in below as always. Make sure you smash a like and subscribe. I'll speak to you on the next one.